On this edition of OC News, Hillary Clinton's pneumonia diagnosis has her sidelined from campaigning. She even canceled a trip to California. A landmark on the CSUF campus is just about ready to reopen after a major remodel. We'll have a sneak peek of the Titan Student Union in a bit.
Samsung is recalling its latest phone because of the possibility of exploding batteries. And get ready to rock and roll right here on the Cal State Fullerton campus this Saturday. Countdown to the concert Under the Stars. All these stories and more, OC News starts right now.
Welcome to OC News. I'm Taryn Martinez.
And I'm Rebecca Vasquez. OC News is brought to you by the broadcast journalism students of Cal State Fullerton.
One of the most popular locations on the campus of Cal State Fullerton is getting ready to reopen. The Titan Student Union has been closed for the better part of the year as it undergoes a major remodel. Our own Natalie Gomez is here to give us a sneak peek. Natalie?
Final touches are being added to the newly remodeled TSU. Just this morning, future furniture started arriving. We are so close to the opening, just weeks until the official unveiling. With an increased student population of 50% since the TSU's last expansion in 1992, it only seemed right to expand it once more to accommodate the current student enrollment of 40,000.
Well, the expansion will feature really a lot of public open areas for students to just be.
The building's recent expansion is about to see its grand opening once more, and we have an exclusive preview to what students have to look forward to. Some key features to the three-level building include a grand staircase that connects the main entrance to the lower level, glass windows all around giving it transparency, and plenty of lounge space for students to enjoy. The grand opening for Cal State Fullerton's newest edition of the TSU is set to open October 20th. And behind me, you can see what some may consider the wow factor to this expansion. This is maple wood, and as you can see, there's going to be many outlets for students to come and hang out between classes or before. Every detail mattered, down to the design on the window panes. The architects even decided to feature little Titans across the windows. The TSU will also feature a number of terraces around the building, overlooking the campus, and on both the west and east sides of the main level, there will be giant patios.
It's a good friend hangout spot. You just meet up, you do your work, or with groups, just check out what you did, and take a breather, have some stuff that's in the food court. It won't be long before students and staff can walk through those doors. Reporting from Cal State Fullerton, I'm Natalie Gomez for OC News.
Originally, the project was set to be opened in the spring of next year, but the contractors were able to finish early. It will open its doors to students and staff next month.
Hillary Clinton has been diagnosed with pneumonia. Her doctor said she had been dehydrated and overheated for the last few days. Her campaign manager released more information on her diagnosis and states that she will get rest before her upcoming debates. She thanks everyone for her get well wishes. As we do have two of the oldest candidates to have run for the presidential elections this year, the health is important for the public interest. As Mike Pence, the Republican Party nominee for vice president of this year's election, has stated, the candidate's health is within the public's interest. He states that Trump is in good health and his medical records should be up to par.
He is a man who is vigorous, is energetic. He gets up early, he campaigns late. We talk about every day, we campaign at least once a week, and I'm very confident that as that information comes forward, the American people will see confirmed that this is a man who does have the energy and the physical ability and stamina to be Governor, president of the United States.
With all due respect, like me, you're not a doctor, I'm not a doctor.
Right.
Shouldn't the American people speak directly to his physicians and get that kind of information? Because he certainly does look healthy, he's got a lot of energy, but don't we deserve to know a lot more?
Well, I think you will know a lot more.
Clinton is expected to be back on the campaign trail within the next week. The new Samsung phone is being voluntarily recalled.
And details are being finalized for the big fundraiser for CSUF, Concert Under the Stars. We'll have more on the American Bandstand theme.
Did you go to the schoolyard? Where did you look? We can make a plan somehow if I just.
He's a
smart boy, and he's gonna be okay. Okay, try to call him again. There's no reception right now. Everything is down. Try! I can't. Try already! Nothing's working. Well, just everything's down. Do you think he's on his way? Please. Is he okay? Laura. Please tell me he's okay. I need you to calm down. What? It's my baby. This is so bad. He's out there by himself.
Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov.
Fall is approaching, yet the weather feels a lot like summer. Let's go over to Shaira Arias with the full weather report.
Happy Monday, everyone. And that is right. Although fall is approaching, we are still in summer. So let's take a look at the temperatures here in the city of Fullerton. Temperatures are looking at 72 with minimums of 63. And then looking at the humidity, it's just going to be at 58%. And for all of you that are interested in looking at the sunset this evening, it's going to be at 7:01 p.m. Now we're going to take a look at the national forecast here in the United States. So as you can see in the East Coast, we see that New York is at 72 and Miami looking a lot hotter within the 80s, and the state of Orlando as well. Looking at the center of this nation, we look at that Denver is at 70, whereas that Dallas is reaching one of the highest temperatures of the nation at 91. Moving a little closer to home in the West Coast, we can see that Los Angeles is at 72, San Francisco with a lot cooler weathers at 65. Now let's take a look at what does the week have in store here in the city of Fullerton. We can see that tomorrow it's going to be very cloudy. So for all of you that are going to be out and about, you should definitely be wearing a sweater or a cardigan. Wednesdays, we're going to be looking at a lot more sun. Temperatures are going to start rising up throughout the week with 79s and minimums of 59. Thursdays and Fridays, we will stay at 81 with a minimum of 61. Then closing out the rest of the week and looking at the weekend, we're going to see it at 84 with a minimum of 63. So that is all that we have for the weather this evening. We have Taryn and the other ladies with what's going to be happening in health. And as you can see, stay with us because we will definitely have some news from the state of Ohio and its heroin epidemic.
The Ohio heroin epidemic rages on as police try to reach out to the public through social media with what some call a harsh approach. The East Liverpool, Ohio Police Department released a photo of under-the-influence parents driving their child around in their car as an attempt to stop the drug overdoses. Cameron O'Brien has more on the story.
East Liverpool has seen a lot of drug overdoses, but few people even know about them. Last night, the drug problem came to a head.
This is a major issue. It's an epidemic. It's everywhere. And you got people that are dying. We had 2 overdoses last night. It's a nonstop.
They say that's why they posted that now infamous picture, to make an impact.
This wasn't a decision made willy-nilly. We discussed this. We talked to the prosecutors upstairs with opinions on that. We went with the administration upstairs, the mayor and the safety service director were all involved in this decision.
WKBN blurred the child's face to try and protect his identity. Police say blurring any part of it misses the point.
We knew that if we blur out that kid's face, you lose the impact of it. And that's what that'll force the issue and get help, because that's what needs to happen.
Some mental health professionals disagree.
The fact that that young child's face was not blurred, that is a moment in time of his childhood that will be forever frozen for everyone in the world to see on the internet from here going forward.
She says that pictures like these aren't effective in curbing behavior.
Stigma a lot of times adds to the shame that people with addictions have, and it keeps them from seeking help. You know, people don't want to admit that they have a problem.
Instead, she suggests police take a softer, more traditional approach.
I think police departments should carry Narcan. All of our first responders do in Columbiana County who are medically trained. I think when people are revived, they should be given some information about here's where you can go for help.
Over the years, doctors have researched and proven the medical benefits of breastfeeding. These benefits can include strengthening infants' immune systems, protect against childhood diseases, and even prevent sudden infant death syndrome. Recent studies out of Europe have added more benefits to this list. Kim Hutcherson has more on this story.
2 new studies out of Europe offer more proof that breastfeeding benefits both mother and baby. The first study indicates that babies who are genetically predisposed to developing asthma are less likely to do so if they're breastfed. Researchers looked at genes associated with asthma risk. They found that infants who carried this genotype had a 27% lower chance of developing respiratory symptoms if they were breastfed. For babies with the genotype who are not breastfed, there was a trend toward increased risk of respiratory symptoms. The study was presented at the European Respiratory Society's International Congress. The second study showed that breast cancer survivors who breastfeed their infants have a better chance of long-term survival. Researchers examined data related to cancer survival rates and lifetime breastfeeding history. They found that women who breastfed their babies for at least 6 months had better survival rates 20 years after undergoing surgery for primary breast cancer. You can read the study for yourself in the official journal of the Academy of Breastfeeding Medicine. For today's Health Minute, I'm Kim Hutcherson.
The Samsung Galaxy Note has only been out for a short amount of time, but now it's being recalled. The Consumer Product Safety Commission is warning consumers that it could possibly explode. Eric Resendez has more on the recall.
You've heard of exploding hoverboards, e-cigarettes, and the latest, the Samsung Galaxy Note 7. The Consumer Product Safety Commission issued a warning to all Galaxy Note 7 users to power down and stop charging or using the device. The lithium-ion batteries used on the smartphones overheat and burst. The warning is based on recent reports of fires resulting from the battery and certain Note 7s. Take a look at these images. A car in Florida engulfed in flames. Apparently, the owner left his Samsung Galaxy Note 7 smartphone charging in his vehicle while he stepped away. Luckily, nobody was injured. The FAA is taking their own safety measures. They recently issued a statement saying the Federal Aviation Administration strongly advises passengers not to turn on or charge these devices on board aircraft and not to stow them in any checked baggage.
The Consumer Product Safety Commission and Samsung are working to formally announce the recall of the Galaxy Note 7. Students at Cal State Fullerton say that they feel threatened and unsafe around the device.
Time bomb waiting to blow up, you know.
That'd definitely be scary, considering it might explode. Safety issue, I could imagine, you know, especially if it were to happen to me or like a personal friend.
Samsung has issued a voluntary recall of the Note 7. Consumers can return the device for a substitute.
My friend had a Galaxy Note 2, so he had it recalled, and he got the Edge as a placeholder until the new ones come out.
Samsung shares are also taking a toll. They fell to their lowest point in nearly 2 months this morning in the stock market. In Fullerton, Eric Resendez, OC News.
We are now going to turn to Jillian Salas for what's going on with entertainment.
Thank you, Taryn. It's been a dismal week in entertainment news with the sudden death of transgender actress Alexis Arquette. It was reported from family members that the actress passed away Sunday morning, leaving behind siblings David, Rosanna, and Patricia Arquette. She was known for her roles in the movies The Wedding Singer and Pulp Fiction. She was also known for her activism in the transgender community. Arquette was 47 years old. A new documentary is coming to Netflix on September 30th. Video streamers will now be able to watch the true crime documentary set on Amanda Knox. Knox was convicted for the murder of Meredith Kircher, who was her then roommate in Italy. Knox served 4 years in prison, but was returned to the U.S. after an overturned conviction. This documentary comes after the Netflix original series, Making a Murderer. The documentary debuted last Friday at the Toronto Film Festival. Moving on to the big screen, Tom Hanks and Clint Eastwood broke the box office again with their film Sully. Eastwood directed the adaptation of Captain Chesley Sullenberger's famous emergency airplane landing in the Hudson River. Hanks portrays the captain who saved 155 people's lives back in 2009. The movie has had the biggest September opening, breaking the box office at $35.5 million over the weekend. According to the Box Office Mojo, that makes it one out of the 5 best September openings of all time.
Cactus 1549, runway 4, clear for takeoff.
Cactus 1549, clear for takeoff.
Cactus 1549, if we can get it for you, do you want to try to land runway 13?
We are unable. We may end up in the Hudson. This was not a crash. I've delivered 1 million passengers over 40 years, but in the end, I'm going to be judged on 208 seconds.
And after 18 nominations, Amy Poehler finally won her first Emmy Award. According to CNN, the comedian won Outstanding Guest Actress in a Comedy Series, along with Tina Fey for their recent appearance on an episode of Saturday Night Live. Puller is best known for her role in Parks and Recreation, but she has also starred in the movie Sisters alongside with Fey and voiced the character of Joy in the Disney Pixar movie Inside Out. Puller once hosted an Emmy Losers Party, but in good spirits, as it also doubled as a fundraiser for a children's charity. And to end on an even happier note, Beyoncé assisted in the marriage proposal of one of her dancers Saturday night. The singer paused mid-performance of the famous hit, Single Ladies, and passed the attention to John Silver. Silver, a native of Missouri, got down on one knee and proposed to dance captain Ashley Everett. With a very public yes, Everett accepted the proposal, and the dancers proceeded with the show. The newly engaged bride respectively tweeted, "He liked it, so he put a ring on it." I could only imagine the excitement she went on that night. Well, that's it for Entertainment Today. We'll see you next week.
Here at CSUF, we'll have a recap of Cal State Fullerton sports and next week and week 1 of the NFL. Also, we will have a preview of Concert Under the Stars, which is happening this weekend at Cal State Fullerton. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
If I got to go to college, oh my goodness. I like discovering new things. You get to see what works for you and what doesn't. That helps you evolve as a person. You get to make like a supernova of skill or talent or whatever it is. I've always wanted to go to college. I just feel like that's my destiny. My name is Queen, and I am your dividend.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
The Cal State Fullerton men and women's soccer teams are back in action along with women's volleyball. Here's John Carosella with sports.
All right, thank you, Tara, Rebecca. I'm John Carosella. It's time for sports. We're going to start off with CSUF sports. Both the men's and the women's teams took the pitch over the weekend. The men's teams participated in the Courtyard Marriott San Diego Central Tournament. San Diego State hosted the tournament on their home field at the SDSU Sports Deck. The Diamonds played 2 games over the weekend, one on Friday and one yesterday. They swept the competition. Their first win came over Memphis with an absolute blowout score of 4-1. Yesterday's game, it was a double overtime thriller as the men's team squeezed out a victory and they evened their record overall to 3-3. Next match is this Friday night. They're going up to the Bay Area to play San Francisco State. As for the Lady Titans, they hosted their very own tournament here in Fullerton. Friday night, the Titans faced off against UAB. Like the men's, they crushed their opponents with a 3-0 victory. However, they couldn't keep the momentum swinging as they fell to the Oregon Ducks last night. The women's team was shut down for the 3rd time this season. The record now is 3-4, and they will play again Friday night in Tempe, Arizona against the Sun Devils. On to women's volleyball, and it's also tournament season as well. The Titans played in the Quality Inn Placentia Fullerton Classic. They played 4 games total starting last Thursday night. It was a tough start for them. They dropped the first 2 games against Air Force and then Weber State. Both games went to 4 sets, but they finished out strong in the tournament, winning the last 2 games. They swept the feet off of Citadel, blanking them in a 3-0 set victory. And on Saturday, they grinded it out with Colgate, winning 3-2 in 5 sets. And now the new football season, it's officially back. Week 1 of the NFL is underway, and it couldn't have been a better start to the new season. It was action-packed and thrilling throughout the entire weekend. 4 games were decided by just 1 point. Particularly, the Chargers and the Raiders games ended in dramatic fashion.
Smith slices in.
The San Diego Chargers coughed up a 21-point lead, and the Kansas City Chiefs ended up scoring 20 unanswered points, including a game-winning touchdown to win the game in overtime. The score at halftime was 21-3. And moving on to the silver and black, the Oakland Raiders played against the New Orleans Saints on the road. Less than a minute left. The Raiders are down 1 after the score, and they decide to go for 2. Derek Carr completes it to Michael Crabtree in the corner. He comes down with it and gets a 2-point conversion. Ensuing possession, the Saints drive down the field. Last second attempt, 61 yards and a miss. Just not enough. The Raiders hold on to win 35-34. It's certainly been quite a fun and thrilling opening week for football, but it's not over quite yet. There's still 2 games left tonight, and it doesn't get any better than this. A doubleheader for Monday Night Football. Right now, Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown of the Pittsburgh Steelers take on Kirk Cousins and Deshaun Jackson of the Washington Redskins. Then right afterwards, the LA Rams. That's right, the LA Rams. They're back in LA. They're going to face off against their interstate rivals, the San Francisco 49ers. Both of these games will be broadcasted on ESPN. And that's all we have for sport. Back to our lovely anchors, Taryn and Rebecca.
Now we are going live with Gustavo Olguin, who is going to tell us about the concert under the stars that is happening this weekend.
That's right. I'm here at the intramural fields of Cal State Fullerton, and the concert under the stars is this Friday. So that means the fields behind me are going to be transformed for thousands of people to enjoy food, music, and fireworks under the stars. Now everybody that does come to the event will be able to bring their favorite picnic blankets, chairs, and food, and set up right here on the lawn for free. There's also going to be a variety of vendors to buy food from as well. And the lawns are actually located just north of the Titan Gym, which are a short walk away from the general parking lots of A and G. Now the gates are going to open at 5, but the concert doesn't start until 7:30. So if you want to get a good spot on the lawn, just be sure to show up a little bit early. For any more information, just feel free to call 657-278-3480 or email your questions to concert@fullerton.edu. This is Gustavo Olguin with OC News at Cal State Fullerton.
Don't forget to join us on social media. We would love to hear about your thoughts about stories. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, all under the handle OC News CSUF.
That's all for today's show. Thanks again for joining us on OC News. We'll see you all again next week. And you can always find reruns of our shows on YouTube.
Have a good night.